Hey guys, live here, just doing a short video on how to play Zarya. Um, well, going off her controls aren't much, honestly. You can just leave them as is. For console, obviously. Excuse me guys, just a little bit tired here. But, yeah, you don't have to actually change her controls up for console. You may want to. I wouldn't understand why though. Her controls set is just fine. Here are the base controls. Default controls are fine as is. But moving on to how to play her is, well, obviously she's a tank, so you're gonna want to go ahead and be the one initiating the pushes. Now you don't want to I don't know, say play overly aggressive with her when you're initiating the push. You still need your team behind you. And I say this because I like to call this the God syndrome, where you're 80% charged, 100% charged, and you feel unstoppable. I mean, who could blame me, honestly? Zarya, which is supercharged, just can melt squishies extremely easily. And ability was 200 health or lower, melted right away. However, if you're facing 2 or 3 opponents and none of the team, then you obviously cannot, or well, not cannot, but most likely 90% of the time you won't win that battle because you have no one team backing you up. So even though you're initiating the pushes, you don't want to play too aggressively. You want to play a little bit conservatively with her. Obviously you want to get your charge, so give your bubble off to people, perhaps your tanks. If you have anybody who's diving on your team, like such as Genji, Tracer, Winston, people like that, you can definitely give them a bubble. And another thing I like doing, if your healers are being targeted, make sure you protect your healers with the bubble. Don't you charge. And excuse me guys, wow, this yawn is getting worse and worse. But yeah, bubble up your healers, protect them, keep them safe. You don't want your healers obviously dying so fast, so quickly. So if your healer's being targeted, it helps you build up charge, protects them, especially during pushes when you're on point, things like that. But yeah, okay, you know what? Let me separate that part from this part. So playing Zarya, playing conservatively is the way to go. I mean, obviously you can play aggressively. She is, in a way, an offense character, kind of like a Roadhog. A Roadhog can just kind of more DPS rather than tank. I like her because she's able to protect her teammates using her barriers, but don't play too aggressively. Like I said, play conservatively with her. Build up your charge. You know, if you're gonna try to initiate a push, maybe build up your charge beforehand, take some damage, and then, you know, go back behind your lines and then push with your teammates, so you have some charge there once you build, and then you can bubble your teammates to build up more charge. Using her bubbles, I would say, is kind of tricky. You have to kind of know when to bubble, when not to bubble. One instance would be fighting Mei. You don't want to bubble against Mei right away. You want to get a couple shots off on her, and then right when you're about to freeze, you bubble yourself up, so you defrost yourself, and she's still shooting you, thinking she's gonna freeze you. So you take, she builds up your charge, and she's already taking some damage, and since she thought she had frozen you, she starts taking more damage, and basically she gets close to like essentially dying. So because of that, you most likely will win fights against Maze, just because they think that they can win against Zarya at first. But it, like I said, right when you're about to get frozen, you bubble yourself, and boom, they start backing off because they know they're not gonna win that fight because they're not gonna freeze you. That's one way to, and that's the saying, like, play smart, learning how to use your bubbles. Don't use your bubbles right away during the fight. You want to take some damage first to kind of lure them to keep shooting their clip, whether it be Tracer, Reaper, or whoever. That's the way you want to do it. You want to lure them into using their whole ammo and then unleashing it onto you, so that way you can go ahead and build charge. And to do that is make them think that you don't have the bubble, and then like partially way you do this, and then they charge you. I mean, if they're smart, they'll stop, but you'll still get some charge out of it because they were just, you know, like I said, unleashing their clip on you, and yeah, it's pretty good. So learning how to play her, or learning how to use her bubbles to build up charge is very important, because if you do not play smart with your bubbles, you're not, I mean, why are you playing Zarya at that point? Because Zarya's so strong with her bubbles, so strong. It's what makes her you know, a force to be reckoned with. So learning when to place your bubbles is heal your teammates, stack them up with the bubbles. If you're on point, either give it to your tanks or your healers. Your DPS, I guess you can. Okay, it's okay, you can give it to anybody if you're tagging on a point. The thing is, you want to choose wisely. You know, who's either instigating the attack more, or who's being targeted more on the point. Such as like if there's Reinhardt swinging, your Reinhardt swinging onto the point, do you want to give him the bubble, or do you want to give it to your healer, like let's say Mercy, healing him? You know, you have to be the character of that, because you have to know if they're targeting a healer, you know, give it to your healer. If they're not, give it to your Reinhardt so he can just go in there and keep swinging his hammer. So like I said, just be smart with your bubbles. That's the best advice I can give you. Choose wisely on who to give your bubbles to. And like I said, bubble mid-fight, especially for teammates too. That way, you know, they and the same thing kind of applies to them. You know, where you kind of give yourself the bubble mid-fight, so that you can go ahead and build some charge, because they will keep on loading your clip onto you. Same thing applies to your teammates. Have them take some damage, and then go ahead and give them a bubble. Reason being, because like I said, they'll do the same thing, and your teammate will most likely unload some shots onto them, so it will help them in the fight as well. Another thing is, well, moving on actually to Zarya's ult. Zarya's ultimate is one that you want to pair up with most of the time. There's no point for you to solo ult. If it's solo, I mean you by yourself ult maybe 2 or 3 people. You can. It's just not highly recommended unless you know unless you can without a doubt for sure know that you're gonna get those kills of the 2 or 3 people that you Graviton Surge. There's no point in doing it. But using her ultimate is, like I said, pairing ultimate, whether it either be a more offensive ultimate, whether it be with excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but whether it be with Genji, Diva, let's see who else has an offensive ult. Not McCree. Soldier would be one that you could use it with. I can't think of any more offensive ults right now, top of the moment. Or Tracer's a good one, but you get the general idea. I mean, you want to pair her ult with a offensive ult, because her ult does some damage, but it puts them all together, and that's why you want to use it with offensive ult, so you can get a team kill, or whether wipe half the team out or something like that. And like I was saying a little earlier, you don't want to Graviton Surge, solo Graviton Surge, and by that I mean do it by yourself and have maybe no one backing you up. You don't always have to pair up her ult, and by that I mean saying you don't always have to pair up the other ult, but if your team's there, you know, you can go ahead and do it, get them all together, and your team just unloads onto them, and boom, team kill. But like saying that, or going off on that, it doesn't mean you can Graviton Surge by yourself against like 2 or 3 people, because you most likely won't get kills. I know it happens to me sometimes, because I get, like I said earlier, the God syndrome, the God complex, where you're almighty and powerful with 100 to 80% charge, and well, you think you can do it by yourself, and then it turns out you really can't, because you're not charged enough, and you basically maybe might get 1 kill, maybe 2, but you won't get all 3. Not unless you have someone backing you up, and that's one thing you have to learn with playing Zarya, is knowing how to use her ultimate, pairing it up with either teammates' ultimates, or using it getting the team together and having someone else backing you up, and always have someone else backing you up, regardless if it's one person or two people. If it's two people, great, you know, you probably won't get those kills because there's three of you total. If there's only one other person, you may get those kills depending on who it is, preferably DPS, maybe a tank. But yeah, you definitely don't want to do it with your healer on. I mean, I guess an Ana could help because she can throw an anti-grenade and they can't heal and it'll kind of injure all of them. But nonetheless, it's important for you to know how to use her ultimate. You always want to pair it up, like I said, use it with someone else, or use it with someone else on your team backing you up. Because if not, you're just wasting the ultimate and you're wasting a push and you're wasting just time. So there's no point for you to go ahead and do that. So going off on that is play smart with her. Don't do anything stupid. Don't rush into anything. But I mean, that's really all the advice that I really have for her on using her ultimate. I don't know if I said this already, but you want to play somewhat conservatively with her. I say somewhat because you do want to play aggressive with her, but you don't want to do overly aggressive. You don't want to be like a Winston diving in because you don't have that ability. You know, you can't just dive in and take on the team 1v6. Not saying Winston can, but Winston can dive in and initiate the pushes. Well, not initiate the push, but attack the backline, things like that. That's because he can jump in, jump out, and you know he's able to jump in and jump out, and that's his thing. But Zarya doesn't have any ability where she can just kind of go in by herself and take on a team by herself. Regardless of the fact if she has a infinite charge, just because, well, you're gonna die. Like I said, even if you're infinite charge, it's gonna be difficult for you to facing 2 or 3 opponents off. Just because they can kind of group up against you. So what you, like I said, play conservatively, but also play aggressively. You know, be smart when you play aggressive, and be smart when you play conservatively. Wait for your team, group up, and use everything as a whole. But other than that, hey guys, if y'all enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, don't forget to hit like, and as well subscribe to my channel. More YouTube, more videos coming out on how to play different characters for console. Remember guys, this is console guide only. Signing off.